We could have given you a slide rule, too.
Oh, yes. I have an inside pocket.
Gotta wait for the light.
Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Finance Committee meeting of Thursday, March 12th at 6:30 p.m. And the first order of business will be the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next item is public comment. I don't believe we had anybody sign up, so we'll move on to the approval of the minutes of February 26, 2015.
So move.
I have a motion from Chuck. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second from David. And George, you were absent, so any changes besides the ones that had been previously changed? Anybody have anything? The only thing was the 9 days was changed to the 90 days on the screening committee, correct? Okay. Seeing no further discussion, George?
I abstain.
Oscar?
Aye.
Aye?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
So it's 5:01. Okay, next is the FY 2016 budget review. I'm going to ask all of you to pull out the sheet, the 3 sheets I handed you tonight that have some arrows on them. So it's in this format, just like what's going to be in the warrant, right there. There you go. And we just have a few left. Now, Joyce, you had asked, our first hold was the planning department and the planning board, but I noticed in the draft tonight that those numbers had stayed the same. Is that true? Okay, so there is no hold on that right now.
Do you have an extra copy of that? I can get
Oh, of this.
There's one here.
Draft 2?
Oh, yeah, take Chris's. No, not draft 2, this.
Oh, the budget.
Sorry. So I'm going to ask that we,
What was the hold for on?
Joyce had said she had to look at the numbers again. She asked us to hold it, but the numbers have stayed the same as what is here. So first item is the planning board for the amount of $7,765. So I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
To George.
Second.
Oscar. Any discussion? Questions? Seeing none, I'm going to call for a vote. George?
Aye.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
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 Okay, so it's 6-0. One member absent. The next is the planning department, and the bottom line is $96,620.
Make a motion to approve $96,620 for the planning department.
Second.
Chuck and Tom, any questions, discussion? Seeing none. George?
Aye.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
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 Yes is the right word, sorry.
It's 6-0. We knew what you meant by saying aye. Okay, the next item is the police budget. The bottom line on it is $4,430,096. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Chuck? Do I have a second?
I think for the record, we just should point out that the only real change is in the salary line, which I believe is contractual collective bargaining agreements.
Yeah, I'll second it. Are you looking for a second?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll
So
second
David,
that.
you're seconding it. Now, questions, discussion?
Yeah, I mean, absent that salary increase mandated by the collective bargaining agreement, there's really not a lot going on there, is there?
Very little. If you look at the change from 291 to 430.
Pretty much the same.
Small change. The expense items went up very slightly. Okay, no questions? Then I'm going to call for a vote. I'm going to start with you, David.
Yes.
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 Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
It's unanimous, 6-0. Okay, moving on to the fire. The bottom line on the fire is $3,559,654. And again, the change is basically in the collective bargaining agreements. And other contractual things, the expenses went up slightly. Any questions that you may have for Joyce? Seeing none?
Is
Dave?
it all contractual, the increase?
Yes.
All contractual, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, seeing none, David?
Yes.
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 Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
it's unanimous. Okay. I'm sorry, who made the motion on that one, on Ina, the fire?
I think it was David.
Yeah.
David?
Yeah, I'll make a motion. I don't think, yeah.
David did, yes.
Okay, I did not have a motion on that. Okay, I'm sorry, I called for a vote before I had
I'll
it.
second it. I mean, if
Okay.
you just need a record.
Let me just, for the record, call the vote again on that?
Yes.
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 Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so it's 6-0, and it was David and George. I apologize. The next is the school department at $20,467,076.
I make a motion to approve the school budget at, it's exclusively as collective bargaining agreements. I think the expense account for the school department is essentially the same number
Let's
as
get
last
the
year.
motion in the second first, and then we'll have the discussion.
So move.
Second.
Okay, now you can go into that. Go ahead, George seconded it. Go ahead.
The increase from FY '15 is entirely collective bargaining agreements between the school committee and the employees.
So, any other questions? Seeing none, David?
Yes.
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 Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
It's unanimous. The only other one I had for departments was the library. The library has a bottom line of $555,816. And again, it's a contractual change and a small increase in the expense line item, about $8,000. Any other questions for either Dawn, the town accountant, or for Joyce?
Where? Oh, it's over here.
It's the next page, yeah.
Thank you.
It was only the places where we had arrows, we'd voted on everything else. Any questions? Seeing none, no, wait, I need a motion, sorry.
Motion to approve.
Okay, Oscar, and you, Chuck, are seconding it?
Yes.
Okay, George?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
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 It's unanimous. And I'm going to wait on the tech article, because we'll do that as part of the warrant. And we also have the bottom line of the budget, the basic budget at $52,891,431.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Question?
Yes.
So I know that there have been some no votes, myself included, having cast two. To the extent that those budget items stand. You know, I don't know, it's just kind of, can you buy into the whole number?
Well, we had that discussion. Actually, I think that legal counsel had ruled that we could vote on the bottom line, even if we expressed because we're not actually giving numbers of where those other line items should be or those departments should be, so we can vote on agreeing in concept with the entire bottom line, whatever it may be, at the end of the votes at
Okay.
town meeting.
All right, thank you.
Am I really explaining that right? That was the
Yeah, that's
ruling that
right.
I thought we had gotten, was that we could vote on the bottom line of the budget.
Right, and if folks didn't agree with the bottom line, they could vote against it with an explanation.
Well,
Sure.
the final vote
Yep.
is the town meeting.
So
They can override you.
we have Chuck and Tom, yeah, we're just recommending, but we have Chuck and Tom made the motion, but you can feel free to vote no if you care to. Okay, does that make sense?
Yes, oh, sure.
Okay, you can have a dissenting vote and say why you did. So, I'm going to call for a vote. George?
Yes.
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 So it's 6-0, the bottom line. Okay, so
I
we've,
have one question.
Sure.
Down below here where it says PY fire contract, part year fire contract settle.
that's just an explanation of, to the union contract settlement that is part of the town meeting warrant, right?
Okay.
So we'll go, like I said, with the Cape Cod Tech article, we'll go there. Great job, folks. It's nice to get through that.
Move to adjourn.
Now we have the CIP,
Yes.
even though it's part of the town meeting warrant. So if you pull up your draft 2, which also includes now our FinCom report, part of it, most of it, I'd like you to go to Article 3 of the regular town meeting warrant. Remember, you have 12 articles at the beginning. Oh, it isn't here. Okay, well, that's why I had people use this tonight. Okay, so the CIP is not here. Okay, well, what, if... The original, okay. You know what? I had those other copies that are, Tom, are sitting up, I put them on the counter. The other draft, that did have it in there. If, you wouldn't mind bringing that down? Because there's already copies made. And we'll move on to the town meeting warrant while you're doing that. So, again, pull up your draft number 2. It's the one with the red at the top that I just passed out this evening. And we can start going through the town meeting warrant. Okay. The first is, of course, the special town meeting. And I want to go to Article 1. And you can see Article 1 was to pay an unpaid bill of $999. Now, that was truly from FY14, so that's a really old unpaid bill, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, after the close of the prior
Prior
year.
year.
Right. So it's $999, and I would entertain a motion. So that's George.
Second.
And Oscar. Any questions about it?
And who is Padula Brothers?
John Deere. If you read down below in the explanation, it
Okay,
is
I'm
actually
sorry.
there now.
It's, yeah, I picked up the draft in the office.
I know
this
you
morning.
just got this right now, so
Okay.
it's kind of hard. Anybody have any other questions about it? Seeing none, George?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
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 So it's 6-0 to recommend approval. Thank you. I knew those were in there. So if you go to,
Oh, thank you.
Were those the ones that,
yeah, that would have been, but if you go to, we'll wait now where we're working our way through the budget. We can go right to the CIP as we get there. So that's just for reference.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, let's continue with this draft 2 with the red highlight with the FinCom report in it for right now. Article 2, we can't do anything with yet because we don't have the final number for the deficit spending for snow and ice.
We don't, I have the last number that I had given, that was.
Okay,
We have one more storm
Right.
possible this weekend, so, we won't have to find another product till the end of next week.
so we'll put a hold until our meeting next Thursday because remember, we have our public hearing next Thursday, so we'll be here. Okay, so we'll hold on Article 2. Article 3 is to fund the clerical unit contract settlement. And I would ask for a motion.
So moved.
So that's Chuck.
Second.
And a second from George. Now you may ask questions if you have any questions of Joyce or of Don.
I think in this case, this is the agreement, the first of a 3-year agreement, and will be 1% in July of 2014, 1% in January of 2015, retroactive to those dates.
And the total cost is $27,000 to settle this, and I like how it's highlighted in here. So this was to fund year one of that settlement. That's why it's in the special, I take it. Okay, does anybody have any other questions?
Just want to point out, there are no alternatives you can vote on or discuss. That's just the legal document, these contracts, and we have to fulfill them.
You
Well,
don't have to support it.
No?
That's
I
true.
know, but there's no sense to be opposed to something that you have no.
This is
That's
the
ridiculous.
The same settlement all other unions have.
I know.
Yeah, the 1-1 split. Any other questions, comments? If not, David?
You entertain
I had the motion, Chuck and George, and now we're,
yes.
okay?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
So that is recommended for approval by a vote of 6-0, Article 3. Article 4 is the change of the building inspector to the true commissioner, full-time commissioner, correct?
Right, I just wanted to point out that this shortfall really wasn't the downtime and change and all of that, that really had nothing.
Okay, so this didn't incorporate the changes I put into it, Chuck. did
That's
it?
correct. I mean,
Yeah.
I had sent Joyce a copy with I took that yellow out,
Okay,
and I took the red out,
Right,
so that I actually merged them all together in the one that I sent last night.
okay.
so that needs to be put in, because I took all that out, and
So
then,
you want to take out what's highlighted in the red comment, obviously?
yes.
And then that's it, you didn't add anything? Okay.
Right, it was just, so, of course, that's our FinCom report, which we haven't approved yet either. So we're just, right now, we're discussing the actual article and whether we're going to vote to recommend approval or not. This can be tweaked, obviously,
Yeah.
okay? Because it really didn't have a difference. The other person, the person left, the other commissioner,
Part-time contract employee.
right?
The union raised concern with someone working on a contract outside doing union duty.
Right.
duties. So we went ahead and felt that it was time to look for a full-time commissioner. That's all I
And we ended up getting a certified person with a,
highly certified.
So really, if we just get rid of
Yes.
the red in the highlighted thing, that it could just be, now, but do we have to say building activity on the increase? That would be gone too. We were hired a state certified, extremely well qualified building commissioner.
So we'll adjust that.
Yeah.
you gonna take
Okay,
that out as well?
No, I'll just adjust, now the building activity is on an increase. I mean, it is up,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it wouldn't be,
oh, they're asking you to do that,
it
Joyce?
wouldn't be misleading until we get there.
Okay, so for right now, it really is the 18,000 from revenue available to, actually, it changed it, it's changed to a real full-time commissioner instead of a contracted employee.
Correct.
Okay. So therefore, I would entertain a motion to recommend approval of Article 4.
So move.
Chuck,
Second.
second from Tom. Okay, any discussion, questions? Seeing none, David?
Yes.
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 Yes?
I don't know what I'm voting for.
The building, it's to move the
know, but-
18,000.
Has the person been hired?
Oh, yes, he's been here since, quite a while now.
8 months.
8 months, 8 or 9 months, yes. And that's what, another reason it's in the special town meeting, so it can be taken care of in this fiscal year.
Oscar, we had to bring him in at a higher step in the salary because of his credentials and experience. The board felt in order to get him, they were willing to offer him a little bit higher salary. It wasn't budgeted for, so this covers that shortfall.
So what's the, how much does he earn?
18, right here.
No, but that's
Oh,
the
how much,
shortfall.
how much is he making?
Increase, yeah.
The increase of 18,000.
We have it right here, hold on.
It's right in the budget book.
I know, that's what I'm
Yeah.
looking for it, but
No, I meant, our big
I
budget
know.
book. You can see what everyone makes.
too heavy to carry.
You have an answer for everything, don't you?
I actually couldn't find it in this, but
No, really? It was in the big book, wasn't it?
Remember, we had additional pages we printed out, breaking out the
Oh, right.
salaries for that department?
That's right.
okay, yeah, okay.
I believe it's in the 70s, mid-70s.
That's the number.
I was thinking 75, 76,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yes, I'm sorry,
75, 70, okay. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you
Yes.
going to vote yes? Okay.
Yes.
Yes, it's unanimous, 6-0 to recommend approval. Okay, now we're going to move on to Article 5. There was a change just to, I know Selectman Gottlieb had said things had changed to the Massachusetts Clean Water Trust instead of the old
Right,
name
it's
that
no
we had
longer
under
the
there.
Massachusetts Water Pollution Abatement Trust. It's now the Massachusetts Clean Water Trust.
And this is to help to make loans to people that are in desperate need
Correct.
of septic.
What this article will do is reauthorize the program and allow the Board of Health to use the funds, the interest on the repayment of the loans that comes back to the town, to refund those for other loans.
Very important from so many reasons. So I would entertain a motion to recommend approval.
So moved.
David? Okay.
Second.
And second from Oscar. Any questions, any further?
Is this for ones that have actually failed, or does it count people who are planning on moving and have to upgrade their
These are
septic?
for folks that have failed. We have 2 systems in town right now that will benefit from this article in May.
That have actually failed some sort of, okay, thank you.
What is the performance on these in terms of the people that are granted these loans paying them back? Is that along with their tax bill and a
It is, it's an you'll see it
Assessment.
on the tax bill.
It's
So
no
they're
different than how a
virtually-
betterment's done, correct?
it's virtually 100%
Yes.
performance on them? Thank you.
Any other questions? That's a good question, Tom.
Probably ends up in a lien if you didn't do it.
Well,
Well-
the,
Would have to be paid if you sold the property.
You definitely need to do this. Right, exactly. It would have to be paid when it gets sold or whatever. So to me, it's a win-win all around.
unless they have it repaired, make a payment, then sell the property.
But then it's actually a betterment on the property.
lien on the
Yeah,
property also.
Or the betterment stays
Yeah.
with the,
Yeah, it would have to be settled out.
So when
Okay.
it's,
It
when
gets
they're
settled at settlement.
Right, at the
It's either-
closing, it's
I
paid
know,
in
I
full.
know.
Right.
I was just looking for that.
It's a good, great question. It really is, to make sure. To me, again, I can say it's a win-win because we've taken care of a problem with failed septic and we're
Right.
also going to get the money back. So I have a motion from David and Oscar. So now I'll call for a vote. George?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
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 It's unanimous, 6-0. Okay, now we're getting into the Community Preservation Act funds, and you can see that Chuck on our thing has given a quick overview. That will be part of our report. We're not going to be actually voting on that tonight, so I'm going to move to Article 6 itself, which has to do with the acquisition of 9 Quashnet Road. And I was a little confused the other night, Joyce, if you could perhaps clarify at the selectmen's meeting whether they were just voting to include articles on the warrant or they were actually recommending approval.
As I pointed out, I said that unless they told me otherwise, their votes were recommending
Approval,
to keep on and recommend approval.
okay. Because I know a couple of the motions I heard include, I didn't hear the recommend approval, but, okay. So, we don't have this, they recommended them all, did they not?
There's a hold on
7.
snow and ice, and there's a
Right.
hold on 7.
Right, which we have on here. Okay. So just for our reference, Article 6, they voted to recommend approval. So does anyone have any questions, or is someone willing to make a motion?
Is this lot available for any other purpose other than, or could it be used for any other purpose? I guess that's the question, other than conservation land.
Could be sold on the open market.
Could be.
It is a buildable lot.
Two buildable.
Two buildable
Two buildable
lots.
lots?
And who currently owns it?
I'm not sure of the parties that own it. I know it is a private party, though.
Do we know why the person's selling it?
Well, I think it falls in line with some open space that's already in that area.
Are there environmental restrictions? Obviously, there's water, an open water body there.
I'm
It's
not,
identified here in the explanation.
Right.
Just in general, how much land in Mashpee is already assigned to conservation and that sort of thing? Isn't it like in the 45, 48%, something
43?
like that?
10%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks.
Well, and the Community Preservation Committee voted 6-1-1 in support of the article. It needs to be pointed out. So someone can make a motion to either recommend approval or not recommend approval.
Well, I'll make a motion, I'll make a motion not to approve.
Second.
So we have a motion not to approve.
So
From Chuck.
if I vote yes on this
You'd be
motion,
voting
I'd
not
be
to.
voting not to buy this land.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, I did, ma'am.
So Chuck and George to not recommend approval.
We'll discuss it.
Okay, discussion.
Well, my feeling is, my thought are two. First off, this is privately owned land, and I personally am opposed to using public funds to buy privately owned land. If the person really thinks they want their land to go into conservation, you have the option of deeding it over to the town for $1 and then taking the value of it as a write-off. But I don't believe public funds should be used for buying private land. But beyond that, the thing that is really puzzling to me is that the lot is 4.2 acres, of which 0.216 is wetlands. So that means the rest of it is termed
Upland.
upland. 3.996 is termed upland. And it would be allowed to be subdivided into two approval not required
Buildable.
buildable lots.
Yeah.
Why would anybody want to sell that land
Yeah.
and do that? I just don't understand the rationale, other than that this is the second application that has come before us. Last year, as you recall, there was a similar piece of land in the same area, and we opposed that, and it turned out that I believe, the tribal council bought it. Is that not what happened last year? Isn't that?
Yes, the tribal.
Was it not in the same area?
I believe it may.
That
believe
was
it
right over
was.
here, wasn't it, by
Right over
Collins
Yeah,
Lane?
right here.
And so you have Collins Lane and then Quashnet, so maybe that was it.
So
So,
I'm opposed on a principle of using public lands, and then on the question of why somebody has two building lots, obviously
well, it's important also to note that the appraised value of this property is $265,000,
right,
and the assessed value is $172,500,
right. And we're going to pay 170.
and we'll pay $170.
Right. Steel.
That's a big deal.
Now, the part of the problem is, so we take it over, and now we have this land that's put into open space and recreation purposes. And we can't sell the land.
Right.
Is that correct? We can't sell the land.
It's into conservation, correct?
There's a conservation restriction
Right.
that goes along with it. yeah.
Doesn't make sense to me.
So
Okay.
basically, it's undevelopable.
At
So
that
we give the guy $170,000 for a piece of land which has no value to him. I agree with her. No.
And we would be inconsistent in our logic if we deny, or if we oppose buying a parcel of land last year for the same basic reasons, and then we approve this.
Okay, just so we're clear, that when I call for a vote, we're recommending to not approve this at town meeting. So a yes vote means you're recommending not to buy this property. Okay? Is everyone clear on that?
Yes.
So I'm going to call for a vote. George?
Yes.
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 So it's unanimous 6-0 to not recommend approval of Article 6. There's a hold on Article 7. So we're going to move to Article 8. Again, another CPC, Community Preservation Committee thing. I would entertain a motion to either recommend or not recommend approval, and then we'll discuss.
So moved.
Second.
Recommend approval.
To recommend, so George and Chuck to recommend. Discussion.
It was, when I listened to the selectmen's meeting the other night, it was pointed out that the CPC committee only recommended approve this by 5-3. And the 3 no votes, as I understand it, was not because they were opposed to the project, but in the past years, the Affordable Housing Committee requested and received $50,000 per unit as the CPC contribution. These two are at $35,000. And their opposition, as I understand it, was they preferred it to be 50.
Oh, wait a minute.
Habitat requested, not the Affordable Housing Committee chapter.
Yeah,
Habitat, I'm sorry, that's right, Habitat.
Yeah.
You're right. Habitat requested 50, the CPC recommended 35.
yeah,
And the 3 members that did not vote for it thought it should be 50.
okay.
Is that correct?
Yes?
Okay.
You had said Affordable Housing Committee.
That's correct, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. Of course, this would go towards our affordable housing inventory, trying to reach that 10%. Does anyone have any questions?
Where do we stand now against that 10%? Any idea approximately? I mean, are we at 2% or are we at 9%?
It's low, yeah, 4.
Oh, boy.
But every other town in Cape is under 10 too. It's hard to hit.
It's very difficult to reach, but we're going to chip away at it.
Okay. I just want to put it in perspective.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions,
Is
discussion?
our contribution of 35,000, that just subsidizes whatever Habitat
Yes.
can
the
offer
construction.
towards it, and the purchaser mortgages? They have a small mortgage on it as well.
This just helps with supplies for the construction.
The other aspect that the town contributes the lot.
We don't
Yes,
have
and
to-
we've given up the lot. But now that's a taxable
Yeah, oh, yeah,
parcel
yeah.
going forward.
Well, they were tax takings, were they not?
Correct.
The lots
Yeah.
were.
They were tax takings, so we're not
No, no, he's-
collecting
but
it.
that's not-
Yeah,
that's not his
okay.
No, but they, going forward, they
Now
will
they
then
will be,
become
which is good, too.
tax-producing property, so it's,
Which is good, too. Yeah. And everybody okay to take a vote on it? Okay, George?
Yes.
yes,
Yes?
Yes.
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 So it's 6-0 to recommend approval. Article 9, again, another CPC. I would, it's the
So moved.
Santuit Pond to recommend approval?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Chuck to recommend approval. Do I have a
Second.
second? A second from, oh, I'm sorry.
David.
David, thanks, David. Discussion, questions? It's Santuit Pond Preserve.
As I took a walk this spring, last spring. Maybe it was last summer, I don't know.
What?
I took a walk because I wanted to see this new fish ladder that was at the end of this pond. That's a long walk. But I had to park on the street.
Yeah.
And I guess this is where this little parking area is going to be, so that you can walk in.
It's going to be right off of Route 130.
Yeah.
Well, the parking is going to be off 130, and you walk down the neighborhood street?
No,
They'll have to cut a trail to get to the other trails, but from that parking lot, you'll go right into the preserve.
Because I remember that garage, you talk about that metal garage, I remember seeing that. But I think that's a nice
It is,
addition.
it is.
And what is the kiosk that is
It's like a little
proposed?
map, I guess.
It's a map, isn't it?
it'll be, it'll show
the
the
maps.
maps of the reserve.
Okay, so it's not a...
We're gonna sell
a s-
coffee and
struct-
donuts.
Well, kiosk to me means a structure that's covered, could be
Chewing gum.
open, otherwise for,
Supplement the snow removal fund.
It's similar to the kiosk
We're gonna get to
that's up
something
here
else, too.
on the Pickle Cove property.
yes,
Similar to that.
Yeah.
thank you.
Any other questions, concerns? If not, I will take the vote. George?
I recuse.
Oh, you're abstaining?
Yep.
Okay.
You don't have to do that.
Well, it's into it.
If he wants to, that's okay. Okay, Oscar?
No.
You're saying no.
That's right.
Okay, Oscar. I'm saying yes.
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 So it carries by a vote of 4-1-1, with Oscar being the dissenter and George being the abstainer. Okay.
It's a curse.
Okay, Article 10, another CPC article. It's the Adequan Park Playground Project, which is over by what was famously known as the Flume property, and $30,000. And the CPC voted 8-0 to support it. So I would, George, you're moving to
Favor.
recommend approval? Okay, do I have a second to George?
Yes, second.
David, discussion? I think it's a great idea. Okay, David, I'll call for your
Yes.
vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
It's unanimous, 6-0 on Article 10. Article 11 of the special is the Johns Pond Beach Improvement Project. And Joyce, if you could give just a quick overview of what this is about, rather than,
Actually, this is,
can you use the microphone, please?
remember that the CPC had funded a upgrade at Johns Pond parking lot. It was going to be a bathhouse, and so there was showers and toilets. We discovered, actually, Catherine wasn't involved in the original application. Then she realized that when she did get the funding, realized it wasn't enough because we couldn't get water to that facility or electricity. It was going to be far too costly. So what they decided, and we had already purchased the bathhouse. So.
Okay.
So what this will do is, this will transfer that bathhouse to Heritage Park, which is needed, bathroom facility, and will transfer that and also fund $63,000 to build the concrete pad and such at Heritage Park for that facility.
So $92,821.92 is actually being transferred from the Johns Pond project to Heritage Park.
Correct.
And then we're $63,000 in additional funding for that pad and all the other things you
It
just
won't be
talked.
money that's transferring, it's technically the bathhouse we already bought.
Okay.
But yes,
Right.
it's cleaning the record, yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, well, where are we here? Did I get a motion? I don't
I don't think so.
think I did yet. It's important to note that the Community Preservation Committee voted 8-0 to support the article. With that, I would entertain a motion on Article 11.
So moved.
Second.
David, well, both of them said it, so David and Tom?
Go ahead, David.
Okay. Then that's to approve. Any discussion, more questions on Article 11?
The only question that came up to me was, not having seen the plan, where is this bathhouse going to be built over at Heritage? I'm not really familiar with Field 3. Is it at the main parking lot between the front field and the back fields, somewhere in that?
Right? Somewhere with that main parking lot, somewhere between, almost in the middle of the park.
Is it going to take away from some of the existing field?
No, there's I think there's actually a storage facility out there now for our tractors. I think it's
Behind
gonna,
the lighted plant. Behind the lighted
so I
plant.
think it's gonna be right near that storage facility.
In the, like in that wooded area?
We're not taking up any of the fields, we're not changing anything.
Okay. I I just envisioning that, I couldn't see it taking up any parking places because there's a
It's
scarcity there. So if it's just beyond that lighted field where the,
It actually says in here, though, this part of the 63,000 is to install additional parking lot and, area lighting, not
Area
parking
lighting.
lot. Yeah, you're right.
Solar.
Sorry,
yeah,
yeah.
okay.
As long as, I agree with you, because the parking up there is tough enough
And
as it
the
is. yeah.
traffic pattern and everything like that.
Right.
And I've seen the kit for the bathhouse, and it's fairly substantial. So it's going to,
It's not taking up any field space or parking lot.
yeah. So it's,
Good news.
It might be out closer to the back side because
Yeah,
of
it's behind the lighted playing fields.
the
yeah, so it'll be accessing the fields that are furthest back and the upper ones, and then the current where the snack shack building is, which does have 2 restroom facilities in it, will support the front end. It's been a while since you've been to Little League, isn't it?
Any further questions? We have a motion and a second to recommend approval of Article 11, and I'm going to call for a vote. David?
Yes.
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 It's unanimous, 6-0. Article 12, another community preservation, and it's the $93,000 for funding the Johns Pond Beach Improvement Project. And this is the final coat of asphalt and other a concrete pad for the picnic pavilion and a few other things that are up there. I would entertain a motion
So moved?
Second.
to approve. Okay, so it's Tom and Chuck. Discussion, questions? I just think it's wonderful up there. It's so nice to go up there and see a real nice parking lot and whatnot. Big difference. And after all that work you and I did, Mike, last year, right? Anybody have any questions, concerns? With that, George, I'm going to call for your vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
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 It's unanimous, 6-0. Article 13 is the typical MGL, Chapter 44B, Section 6, for the Community Preservation Budgeted Reserve for Appropriation. And it's the typical 3 different 10%. And
This
So-
is there a question?
is similar to last year where we received more than we anticipated. So that's setting aside the 10% for that additional money that we received.
Right, I know there was a lot of confusion last year over how that was going to be, but they're just putting it to the 3 purposes, correct? So do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
So Oscar and Chuck, any questions, concerns? Seeing none, David?
Yes.
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 Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
6-0. Article 13. That's the special town meeting. We made it through that. Now we're going to move on to Article 1 of the regular annual town meeting. So Article 1 is the reports of the town officers. I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Chuck, George, questions? George?
Yes.
Oscar?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
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 6-0. We already did the budget itself. We took the votes earlier.
Madam Chairman, may
Yes.
I just point out to the members that before, when we used to do the report, this whole business of our report relative to Article 2 was up front. So now what we've done here is we've taken Article 2 and we've got this FinCom overview. So, for example, when you turn the page, you see the explanation of where each line item was voted. Did we make any change? Is there anything we have to add as a result of tonight's vote?
No, because,
And then,
No, we were all-
and then there's a brief explanation of anywhere where there was a plus or a budget line item went up went up or down by $50,000. And the rationale for $50,000 is that is the amount that is equal to approximately equal to 1 cent on the tax rate. Okay?
Right.
And then following that, so, and there's also, we're going to be inserting the debt schedule relative to lines 72 to 76. 72 to, well, 72 to 76.
6.
But that's part of the debt schedule, and we're going to show the debt schedule going through 2029. And then following that is our projected calculation for the tax rate based on this budget, plus other things. And that's going to fit in this area here. And at the present time, we're looking at a no increase on the tax rate based on our assumptions that are in that calculation. Okay? So then we go to 3.
So now we're going to Article 3, which,
All of that before we get to Warren's budget line items for folks to vote on.
Yes, yeah. But that's
we
a-
haven't voted on the FinCom report yet. That'll be next week, so how this
I'm
is.
just saying, where would we place the warrant, the omnibus budget in your report? So it would be right after the projected tax rate calculation?
Yes.
I think so, because Article 3 is the capital improvement budget, but then you don't get to Article 10 till you get to the Cape Tech budget. So, yeah, I guess that's, it does mention in here that Article 3 and Article 10 are included in our calculation for the tax rate.
If I may now, that we're going to Article 3, which is the, excuse me?
No vote on Article 2.
That's
We
the
did
budget. We already voted on that
Oh, so
ahead
it's
of time.
already approved.
That's what we approved earlier in the meeting, yes. Okay,
Minutes reflect that article was approved.
you can, yeah, because we did that in the earlier part of the meeting. It was,
It was 6-0.
it was the first thing under old business
Yes.
tonight, okay? Article 3 is the capital, so I'd encourage you to open up what Mr. Mayo brought down to us all, and it's Article 3 again of the annual town meeting warrant. No, it's this right here. That's what we need. It's what Tom just gave all of us, that other draft.
No, it's inside this. Start the middle of it.
Thought this was the same thing as, there we
Just
go.
brought it there, and yeah, that's it. I think that's it. That's it. Go to Article 3 of the annual town meeting warrant, and it's the CIP.
Halfway through, Oscar.
Yeah, it's about halfway through.
Oh, big go.
Right, yeah, you, no, you're still on the omnibus budget. One more. You gotta get
That's it,
one
isn't
more.
it?
Right there. There you go.
Okay.
Has everybody found that page? I know, page numbers. Okay, so Article 3 is the capital improvement budget, and it's a total of $738,014. And I don't, it's not broken down here. Is it broken down? Where the money's coming from? Oh, you hadn't done that. That's something I would like to see
Okay, we can
in
do
the explanation instead of just that, because,
Okay.
excuse me, how much is coming from, excuse me one moment, I need to find, how much was coming from free cash? 667,804 from free cash, or revenue available?
What's the number?
667,804. It was in that lovely funding sources that Dawn had sent to all
Yeah,
of us.
that's
It was
okay.
on one of the tabs. And then we have $60,069 coming from the MCAT, the cable funds. And then we have $10,141 coming from the Recreation Department revolving funds for the capital budget. So that comes up, that adds up to the 738,014.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll say that line items 1 to, whatever they are, I'll figure,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, to 10 are are coming from,
Well, all you need to do is say line 15 is from the recreation
Okay.
revolving account, and the school and the IT are coming from the MCAT.
and the rest are coming
The
from.
rest is from free cash.
Okay, I can do it.
Yeah, that would be great. I think it's important to say that, where it's coming from. I personally highly recommend that we approve this capital budget. I sat as your representative on the CIP committee, along with Mr. Richardson and Joyce and Don and Tom, and it became a unanimous vote after having all the presentations. So I would entertain a motion to approve the CIP as presented.
So moved.
Second.
George and Oscar. Do I have any other discussion or questions? Seeing none, I'm going to call for a vote. George?
Yes.
I lost you, yes.
Thanks, I'm glad someone trusts me. Yes,
Yes.
Because
Yes.
I really,
Yes.
it's 6-0, approved.
you're the liaison.
Thank you. I can't remember who made the motion. I'm just
Me.
writing it to George, and who seconded you?
Oscar.
Oscar, okay. Okay, 6-0. Article 4 is to fund the clerical settlement.
This is,
Year 2, $52,000.
so move.
Chuck? Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from David. Discussion, questions? Again, it's year 2 of a 3-year collective bargaining agreement. Seeing no more discussion, David?
Yes.
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 Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
It's 6-0. Article 5. It's the accrued benefits account, human resources, $95,000.
No way.
What was that?
She's not gonna leave. She's gonna hold out.
What is?
She's not going to leave.
Oh,
He's saying, hurry up and support it.
So move.
okay, so Chuck to
Second.
recommend, George second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, George?
Yes.
Oscar?
Yes. Oh, fine.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
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 Can we say yes with regret?
Certainly.
You want to keep that
Don't
money?
ask for comments.
It's unanimous, 6-0. Okay, Article 6 is the Cape Cod Regional Technical High School District for the fiscal year, for the next fiscal year. And our share is $1,162,442. You see, the total budget is $14,532,300. That is spread out over the districts that send students to the Cape Cod Regional Technical High School. This also includes some capital money, correct? Was it $250,000?
Yeah, $250,000 for their stabilization.
But that's split out over
The
all.
12 towns.
That's not just our responsibility. So the $1,162,442 includes our portion of the $250,000 for their capital budget. So that always confused me. How many students were up to? 62? Is it 62 from 57?
Is
So-
it 62 or 63?
I think it went up 62
It's 62.
from
That's what-
57.
The thing that I had a question, their budget is going up 4.5, and we're going from 57 to 62, which is, I think, is something like a 3% increase. But the budget, our allocation is going up 18%.
It's a very, have you been present? You must have been present when Mr. Sanborn came and did the presentation
Last year.
on how they do all the figuring and everything. It's a very confusing and, to
Yeah.
me, convoluted formula.
The
but-
other is that the minimum spending formula is affecting this year's budget, and the 5 extra students. That's what that 18% comes in.
That makes good sense, right? That makes
So it has
really
nothing
good
to do with the increase from 57 to 62, it has to do with the,
Well, it
does.
does, the 5 students,
yeah,
and then the minimum school spending.
oh, for each of them,
The net school spending, yeah.
okay.
Okay, well, I would entertain a motion to approve Article 6.
So move.
Chuck
Second.
and Oscar. Any other questions?
Just out of curiosity, if simply it's $18,750 per student, what is the cost of our public school students in the town, or
What are we?
14?
It's probably less because, they're using all, they have a lot more equipment.
Although we do have the School of Technology,
Yeah, we're almost as,
the Center for
and
Technology.
is that pretty consistent from town to town, towns our size and such? Okay, thank you.
No.
No.
No. Joyce, if you wouldn't mind.
No, we're on the
High
high
end.
end.
The high end, yeah.
Yep.
Do you know the range in the Commonwealth, or?
Well, I don't, but there are some schools that are spending $7,000 per student. I mean, if you, there is a report which I can get and send to you that'll show the net schools, the school spending per pupil across the Commonwealth.
Can't you go on the DESC site?
Can.
The
Yeah,
DESC
I mean, I could
site.
find it if I wanted. I just was curious
See, it's
What's
really all.
as to where we were, but
Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. Used to be DOE.
The state average is 11,000, so I think we're above.
That's-
We've been above state average for
Quite a while, yeah. Quite a
And
while.
how would you explain it, that we are above?
I'd like to think that we're investing in the children, see?
It could be, we probably have capacity to hold more kids, to have more kids, right?
Which side you're looking at?
The answer I got one time when I asked that question was because there are a lot of senior individuals in the school department. Maximum, high on the
Yeah.
salary
Maximum
scale,
salary.
high on the step thing, that
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Absolutely.
And that they are expected to retire, which would drop the per student cost down. But since I've been here, it's been going up, so I haven't seen many retirements, I guess, but,
We run through that all the time.
yeah.
Does anyone else have any questions? We're voting on the Cape Cod Tech budget. David?
Yes.
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 Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
it's unanimous, 6-0. Article 7 is, again, this is creating an additional position of a maintainer 1 in the DPW, which all the costs associated with it are in the article. And I can tell you that I think it's really needed myself. I would entertain a motion to approve.
So move.
Chuck?
Second.
Tom? Any discussion or questions?
Would somebody clarify what a maintainer is?
Sure, I would defer to Joyce.
Maintainer 1 is folks that we put out on doing all of our mowing, our fields, our roads. They're out in the field working. The next position you'll see is a facilities maintenance worker. Those are the folks that maintain all of our buildings and our infrastructure. So our building infrastructure, and then the other crew is the road crew.
And
They do everything.
how many employees in this particular department to maintain?
I think there's 33 total,
33 total.
not maintainers. Remember, in that
In
total are
the-
school custodians,
Right.
building facilities, maintenance folks, and two, a road supervisor and a facility supervisor.
Is any of this work contracted out to private contractors?
No, actually, we've brought all of our work in-house, so, and of course, we're taking on more roads and more facilities all the time, so.
I personally think the explanation is quite good in here. It assists with the daily maintenance of the town's roads, parks, beaches, fields, cemeteries, and grounds. The position also works during snow events. I mean, pretty much it. And we've accepted another 5 miles of roads for a total of 80 miles of town roads and sidewalks and everything else. So the job is bigger, so therefore we need more people to properly do it.
Is the department fully staffed?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
We have one employee who's out on a long-term injury, but otherwise, we're fully staffed.
So if this doesn't happen, are we going to notice it, practically speaking?
Well,
And-
I think we're seeing the stresses of not having enough hands out on the roadways. I think, if it doesn't pass, Catherine, I'm sure will make it work, but we're seeing that. We're seeing how we're stretched right now, and I think, she feels strongly one more would certainly help, and I agree.
Well, even like the school grounds, do these guys take care of the school grounds?
They do take care of the school fields, yes.
See, I mean, that's kind of a new thing that's been come down the road too, that's,
Did I hear you say that the town is doing all the plowing now?
No,
No, okay.
no, we don't do all the plowing. We still hire, I think we have 20 to 25 subcontractors. We start strong, and then after the first storm, we usually lose a few. But
Another reason we supported the CIP this year.
right, you'll see the CIP, we've decided to make sure that we have large enough equipment. That was one of our issues, serious issues this year. So.
Okay. So we have a motion from Chuck and a second from Tom. Any other questions? Seeing none, David?
I'm going to vote no.
Okay.
Yes.
yes.
Yes?
No.
Yes.
It carries 4-2. Article 8, facilities maintenance worker.
So move.
Chuck. And again, okay, I need a second. Anybody willing to second?
Second.
Tom? I would reiterate the same thing that I just said with the other article. I think it's extremely important to maintain our infrastructure, because if we don't, it's going to cost us many more dollars as we go down the line. I would much rather spend the money on an additional worker now than spend the millions that it would take to eventually replace things.
I think it's important to point out that this was one of our strengths as well when we received our AAA bond rating, was that our infrastructure is in really, really good shape. And so, you would ask if there would be an impact if you said no, if it was voted down. I think so. I think what would happen is we'd just have to say no to some of the projects. And I'd hate to do that, and I know Catherine wouldn't want to do that either. But I think that, we do a whole lot with little support, and I think the guys are starting to feel it. But anyway, this is important. I think our buildings are in good shape, and the reason they're in good shape is that we're doing everything in-house. We have a licensed HVAC gentleman that's an employee. We have a licensed electrician. So we don't have to go outside and pay the prevailing rates that we would if we would have put this out on bid and hire an outside contractor. So I think we're getting a lot for our money, so I would hope that you would look favorably upon this position.
Just one of the issues that I'm grappling with is, I'm just, in theory and principle, you try to keep your hands around the growth of government, and you look at each one of these budget items on a standalone basis, and each one of them is, relative to the entire budget, small. But it's like drip, 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 drip. And next thing you know, all these small things add up. And the issue I'm grappling with is, where do you draw the line? And I don't have the answer for that. So,
Well, if I may, you're discounting the fact. When you look at the end of the articles, you'll see three articles for new roads coming up. Somebody's got to maintain those roads. You look across the street, and we got a new archives building that was done by our DPW guys. We got all these parks that somehow have to get maintained, and they keep adding parks. You know, John's Pond now is going to be a full-rate facility. We're going to put Adequate Park now as a full-rate facility. I mean, the least of which, if you don't empty the garbage, the trash cans on a periodic basis, you know where the trash ends up? On the ground. So this is, if you're going to have these kinds of facilities, and you're going to fund these kinds of facilities, somebody has to take care of it. So there's no drip, drip, drip. The drip, drip, drip is because there's more things coming on. And it's not going away. And you, as soon as this stuff starts to go downhill, then the town goes downhill. One of the big problems the schools always have, when they want to cut, what do they cut first? They cut out the maintenance guys and they cut out the grounds guys. And the buildings go to the pot, and you look at it and it looks trashy. We can't let that kind of thing happen.
Sorry, may I?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just not to try to convince anybody anymore, but we've done a good job on our buildings. And our buildings, the list of things that have to be, or being requested to be done on our buildings is very, very long. It goes into our CIP every year, and it goes out years and years and years out there, and we do all the work, and we've kept our buildings in very good shape. It's a pride of the town, and it's all done by the DPW. Every year when the school's closed for the summertime, the list of Catherine gets to paint and do all the tile and everything else is longer. So one thing, what Chuck mentioned, our roads that we've taken over in the town, 80-plus miles, are all getting to be 20 years old. They're now getting to a point where they're going to have to be worked on again, drains and everything else. So, and then when you have a year like this, people who have roads that are not taken over by the town are subject to some difficult issues in the wintertime. Guess what? They're saying, we've had enough of this stuff. We want you to take it over. And the town has to bring those roads up to condition where we can accept them. So I understand your point, and it's well taken, but I think Catherine and DPW has worked very hard, and they're at the limits of their ability to get things done without a little bit more help. That's just my personal opinion, from what I've seen from working with them.
Well, again, I just come back to my original premise, is that we need to take care of the infrastructure that we've spent so much money to build. We need to take care of it so we don't have to build it again or do a major renovation.
Yeah, no one's saying, don't take care of the things that we have, because it's just, to use another euphemism, penny wise and pound foolish. Just for argument's sake, though, what I'm hearing is that we have a certain staff level, everything's being expertly and very well taken care of, and everything's in great shape. Did I hear that incorrectly? Well,
It's
really
tough.
pretty good shape, but now we need more people.
Because there's more things.
Because there are more things, and
Okay,
plus,
all right.
I'll bring up, for instance, the high school now. That's an old high school now. Everyone, I still hear people say, the new high school. It's 20 years since it was begun, so obviously, there's a lot of things that need to be taken care of. And to me, that was a good analogy, penny wise, pound foolish. Let's stick with it. I highly recommend this, and I'm going to call for a vote. I think we've had a lot of discussion on this. George?
I'm good.
I raised my
You have something? Okay, what?
I signal to you.
Okay.
If you look at from the perspective of how you would run a business, if I have a major problem in a building or the street, I would send out a request for a proposal and have a private contractor bid on it. That will create a competitive market, will give the contractors a chance to win the contract. And mostly what my concern would be, after the job is finished and it's not done and has to be done over again, the taxpayer just gets a slip the bill without even knowing that he had to pay twice for this project. So to me, it's I have a little problem with it too. And in addition, I agree with the gentleman here that trip by trip, the public sector expands and the private sector gets smaller. And this is the
There
concern
is,
of mine.
there is
If I-
a,
It not happened overnight, but it happens
If I
very
could also
slowly.
just remind everyone that
Prevailing
when we
wage.
took over the school facilities, we did the reorganizational plan, and Terry, you and Chuck were on that committee with me. There was an intent to add to this department,
Right.
the engineer position, and also additional maintainer at facilities. I think there was an intent to also have a foreman-type
Yes, there
position
was.
added. So this is staying within our organizational plan that we thought of, goodness, what,
5 years ago, yeah.
Well, when
So-
I build a
that it?
hospital or a
was
major
only 5
project,
years ago. I
it's
think it was
always
more than that.
funded with the intent to have a crew to maintain it. And that's nothing unusual.
I'm not saying it is, but actually, this saves the taxpayers money by us hiring
How do we know?
within.
How do we know? When a job
Because-
has to run 3 times.
Oscar, we have to pay prevailing wage, which is far more than the hourly rate that we pay our employees. If you go out to bid on a construction market for any service, you have to get a prevailing wage rate in order to do that service, which adds considerably to the costs. So we look at this as a cost-saving measure for the community.
Well-
And we wouldn't have brought this forward if we didn't feel that the time was right. We're back to full staffing on the public safety departments. Remember, we've been ramping ourselves up back to full staffing, all the while knowing that we had to at some point address the needs of the Department of Public Works. And we feel we're in the position this year where we can do that without impact to the taxpayers.
Again,
I understand what you're
it's
saying, but
it's the hidden cost of you hire a person, he joins the union, he gets the longevity, he gets a big fat retirement plan thereafter, and the private contractor is struggling to maintain his crew. I mean, I see it from both ends. And I'm sorry to say that I am not in favor of growing the public sector.
Chuck, then
sorry.
David, Chuck had,
Probably.
The only thing that I would, and I, having been in municipal government for a lot of years, I was one who advocated, and oftentimes, the use of contracts. However, when you do that, you do need someone, you go out for a proposal, somebody's got to write the proposal.
That's why you have a DPW director who's an engineer.
Okay.
And also
Somebody,
the power
somebody has to provide the oversight. Somebody has to provide the follow-up.
there's a lot of hidden
There's-
overhead, is what
there's a-
you're saying.
That's exactly what I'm saying. There is overhead.
That's a job.
I understand,
part of it.
I understand it's a job,
That's
but,
why we call it a professional job,
well,
because you have the responsibility.
Okay, David.
Yeah, I have a question. So this was not included in the budget that we approved for the department. This is on top of it. And why is that?
We have a bylaw that states any new positions must be created first at town meeting. So we did not put this in the budget. We have to create the position and fund it. Next year, it'll appear in the budget, the funding for the position, if it gets approved.
just on the other side of that, David, you'll notice there was nothing in the budget, there's nothing in these articles about the assistant director in the DPW, because that position is already created
Understood, yeah.
from the past.
Yeah, there was another one too, and I think in conservation, there was a position that we
Yeah,
part-time.
it's filled again.
That's
It
correct.
may look like we're leaning heavy on DPW this year, but DPW has been put on the back burner for several years. So we feel that, we're at a position where we can do. So we're, obviously, the voters will decide. But we're hoping that you can see your way to support the article. So
Call for a vote.
Okay, thank you. George,
Yes. Oh, wait a minute, the motion was to approve?
to approve.
Yes.
No.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
So it's 4-2 with David and Oscar in the negative. Okay, moving on. Article 9, this is the IT department to add the position of a desktop support technician in the IT, and they come under the PAP, Personnel Administration Plan. And this is because we're adding to the 2 full-time employees that are currently there, which is the network administrator and the IT director, correct? Again, it's a case of we're adding. We have computers everywhere. They take care of the systems for everywhere but the school, but they do on occasion help out at the school. Is that correct?
They're actually providing all of the technology assistance for the camera, the security system now.
Okay.
And also they are helping out whenever called upon for the schools.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion and then we can discuss it, and you're to recommend?
And I second.
So it's Chuck and Oscar, now discussion.
I think this is one of the most important departments in the town. And I'm very impressed how the IT director sends out over the town email the warnings of what's going on. We think that we're just a little isolated town. We are connected to the whole world.
Absolutely.
And it's important that this department is functioning Class A.
Okay, that sounds like a strong endorsement.
So be it.
Anyone else have any questions or concerns before I call for the vote? Seeing none. George?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
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 That's a 6-0. Article 9. Article 10 is just re-upping the Kids Club Enterprise Fund for FY 2016, just so people know, it's pretty much, it has to be self-supporting and go from there, so I entertain a motion to recommend approval.
So move.
That's Oscar
Second.
and Chuck. Any questions, concerns? Seeing none, George?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
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 It's unanimous. Article 11. This is just to be able to borrow again if we need to do temporary borrowing for the Chapter 90 program, which is the roads. I would entertain a motion, and then we can discuss.
So moved.
I have Chuck and George. Discussion, questions?
This money, this Chapter 90 money is limited to major roads, right? Like Great Neck Road,
Town roads.
town roads, but not residential, necessarily residential
Right.
roads. Right, so if like Great Neck Road, is 151 is a state road, so that would be.
Well, 151 is a town, it's a state-marked highway, but the town maintains
So
it.
that, if we were to do that particular project, that would come out of this money.
That's correct.
Okay. Do we have any other questions?
No, I'm just saying there's a lot of road damage right after this winter. The Lowell Road, for instance, where I live on, is all bumpy. It's frost heaves. And heavy trucks go over it and they demolish it. It's going to be all the nice paving they put down a couple of years ago is going to be all eaten up with this one window.
That's why we needed more maintainers.
Well, no. It's not the maintenance. It's when we spend the money, we should spend the money.
Well, the governor came
to
out
eliminate
today
the
and
cost.
announced, what, another $100 million for potholes?
Yeah.
Potholes, that's
Yeah.
right.
Well, at any rate, this is, again, let's get back on task. This is just to authorize them to borrow the monies if
Yes.
need be. So, George?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
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 6-0.
I hate to break my axe.
Okay, the next is Article 12. It's just kind of the bookkeeping, I guess, where they put aside the monies for the administrative and operating expenses for the Community Preservation Committee. Same thing pretty much every year, correct?
5%
5%. So I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
Chuck and George again, or should I say George and Chuck, just
Yes,
to mix it up?
That's the correct order.
Any discussion, questions? Seeing none. David?
Yes.
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 Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
it's unanimous. Okay, whoops, going to the wrong page, I was going backwards. Article 13 is, again, just reauthorizing the Council on Aging revolving fund.
So
Pretty
moved.
basic, so that's Chuck.
Second.
Second from Oscar. Discussion, questions? Seeing none, David?
Yes.
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 Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
it's unanimous, 6-0. Article 14, it's reauthorizing the library revolving account.
So moved.
It's George and Oscar. Discussion, questions? Seeing none, David?
Yes.
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 Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
it's unanimous. Article 15 is the recreation revolving account reauthorizing.
So moved.
Second.
George, Oscar.
I have one
Oh.
question.
Okay, ask your question.
Joyce had mentioned that the revolving account for the recreation went from 300,000 last year to 450. Did you have a chance to look at what the increase might be?
I think it's more programming.
Okay.
And it's also important to note that the town accountant monitors the transactions
Well,
in the account.
that's the only safeguard there is, and that's good.
Okay, I'm going to call for a vote. David?
Yes.
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 Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
it's unanimous. Okay, we're on to Article 16. This is now, they're going to rescind the authority to issue the unissued balances of authorized bonds and notes. It's important to note that most of this is Chapter 90 that was never done, but also that no resident of those neighborhoods were charged any betterment or anything for that. I know there was a lot of confusion about that in the past. It's just that we're rescinding the authority to issue the bonds.
I did put this paragraph in.
I know you do, but I'm saying it for the public because not everybody has that to read. So I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
Chuck, do I have a second?
Second.
Oscar? Any further discussion? Seeing none, George?
1 second, I just want to look at something here.
Okay. I'm going to start the other way. David?
Yes.
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 George, can you feel like you can't vote, or?
Oh, no, I can vote, I'm just,
Yeah.
this money was authorized at prior town meetings,
Right. and-
okay, at various years. So, is this now just going to the general fund?
No,
It
we
was
never
never borrowed.
Oh, never borrowed,
Yeah.
bingo,
We're
yes,
just
then,
cleaning up our books.
yes, thank you.
So yes, it's 6-0.
Sorry. Just-
Okay, moving on to Article 17. This again was something that was, the
same as-
language was changed.
This is the same as the one that was on the
Yes.
special.
But it's, again, it's the Massachusetts Clean Water Trust instead of the other name. Pretty much, it's pretty basic, so I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
Chuck? And you seconded it, George?
Yes, I did.
Any discussion or questions, since it's exactly the same as the other one? Okay, David?
Yes.
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 Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
it's unanimous, 6-0. Article 18 is cleaning up some
That's rezoning.
language, oh, it's rezoning, that's right, it's the former Flume Restaurant property. It's changing to C2 commercial from R5 residential. And that would, so I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
Chuck?
Second.
Was that you, Tom?
Yes.
Thank you.
Question?
Sure.
Was there any comment or feedback from abutters or people in that area on this at all?
It's all town property around it.
Okay.
So that's a good question.
It was a good question. It was
Yeah.
actually, the plan review asked the same thing, but it is virtually all town property right around it.
So the answer is no, nobody's got a problem with that?
No,
Okay.
that's a problem, no.
Well, especially since a restaurant had operated there for how many years? Okay, I'd call for a vote then, David.
Yes.
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 It's unanimous. Article 19, again, it's a change to amending the zoning bylaw to add that language, the pub brewery, brew pub, and micro brewery. I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
Chuck,
Second.
second from Tom.
Good Irishman, you should. second that.
Absolutely.
Discussion, questions? Seeing none, I'm going to call for a vote. David?
Yes.
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 To abstain, I don't know what I'm talking about.
You're going to abstain, okay? George?
Yes.
I'm not part of this group.
So it's 501 with Oscar abstaining. Okay, Article 20 is the senior citizen work-off, property tax work-off, correct?
Yep.
It's pretty much just re-upping it. I know there were a couple questions.
There were some changes to the Mass General Law, so these are bringing our programs in line with what Mass General
right.
Law has done.
I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
Chuck,
Second.
second from Oscar. Questions, discussion?
Just give me a minute.
There was a critique by the town clerk in the paper about the efficiency of this operation in some areas. Has this been addressed by the board?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, then you have to go back and do some research.
Okay?
I cannot quote her exactly, but she mentioned that it was more of a handicap than a efficient operation, and that she had to redo some of the accounts, especially in the sticker department.
I don't know if we should really be discussing this anyway, really, because we're now talking about people and their abilities.
I'm not
Yeah.
asking for a discussion.
Right.
I'm simply asking for a response to that article in the paper.
It sounds like you probably should contact.
That was quite some time ago.
Contact Lynn Waterman, who oversees the program,
So our Council on Aging Director,
oversees
Yeah.
the senior abatement program.
okay?
David, do you understand what the senior citizen property, $500, you understand that program?
Yeah, and I have a question. It says currently there's only 12 people participating in the program, so by dropping the eligibility age from 70 to 65, how does that impact, any,
Yeah, that was asked the other night at your meeting.
These guys like me are now qualified
yeah. Try and get closer.
for a few more years.
This isn't the work-off program.
No,
Right.
No.
this is $500.
This must be another exemption that's allowed with the Board of Assessors, and that's why there's only 12.
So it's totally different than what we were talking about, what Oscar was referring
That's
to.
what I was going to check on, and John just confirmed.
Okay.
This is different than we all thought the other
It's a real estate tax exemption program.
And, all right, so, but it's talking about the statute in the first item, to reduce requisite age of eligibility from 70 to 65, and then reading in the explanation, if I read it correctly, because of the age limit, there are only, and other income qualifications, there are only 12 residents currently, so given that adjustment in the age limit, that number goes up to?
I don't know how many will go up, but there's a
Okay.
chance it'll go up. Whoever applies and qualifies.
Depends on who.
We don't know that. Okay.
It's really,
Thanks.
But you said really what it is to conform with what's been done across
State.
the Commonwealth. Okay.
So this is not a work program, this is just a straight
Program.
exemption if
Yeah.
you're
because it,
Yeah.
now 65 and low income,
limited
basically.
income.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay, folks, I'm going to call for a vote. George?
Yes,
as you lower the age.
Oscar?
I'm 70, so.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
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 It's unanimous, 6-0.
Syracuse.
We're getting there, folks. Article 21.
Get out your
I'm not
W-2,
yet.
Mike.
I should not even be here.
I'm not yet. Okay, Article 21. This is, I'm sorry.
No, just adjust the income and asset qualification.
Right, general laws. Well, we're accepting the provisions of the Mass General Law, Chapter 59, Section 5, blah, blah, blah.
It's really adjusting those to the CPI.
CPI,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, and their social security benefits are already adjusted to that.
So it would make sense.
Yeah.
I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Everybody's, I had George, I had Oscar. I'm going to do George and
Senior citizens
Oscar.
only vote.
George?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
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 It's unanimous. Article 22.
So moved.
Second.
It's the
What was that?
veterans.
This is the veterans, right? Disabled veterans, yeah. You made a motion, George?
Yes, I did.
And do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Oscar. Discussion, questions? Seeing none. George?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
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 It's unanimous. Article 23. It's a change to the bylaws. Why did we need to do this, Joyce?
It allows, somebody right now has only one permit extension. This would allow with commission approval more than one, more than a year, an extension
Oh,
beyond a
okay,
year.
so the conscom could go longer than a year.
Right, if something wasn't completed within the time frame.
Okay. I'd entertain a motion.
So move.
Chuck, do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Tom. Further discussion? David?
Yes.
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 Yes,
Yes. Yes.
it's unanimous. Article 24, another bylaw change.
This would set a maximum they can be charged by a consultant or engineer on a wetlands resource area review to
Is
$2,500.
this a common thing, Joyce?
How did this come about?
Is that,
Well, they have the authority, I believe, to request consulting services
okay.
of an applicant.
So they've capped it.
It looks like they put a cap on it.
Okay. Thanks. I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Tom and Chuck. George, how you feeling about this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
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 It's unanimous, 6-0. Article 25.
I think this is just a name change
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
at the state level.
Okay, motion?
Second. No, motion.
You're making it, Chuck.
Second.
A second from Tom. David?
Yes.
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 Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
It's unanimous. Article 26. This is the length of residency requirements for the disabled veterans to qualify for the disabled veteran exemption. No?
No, no.
Oh, sorry, went back. That was the one we already did.
We already
No,
did that.
sorry about that.
Moving forward.
Oh, that's why I didn't want to read this.
Yeah,
Can we
really.
dispense with the reading of this?
They're new
Too much geometry in this one.
protocols, apparently. We're
Right.
just amending our bylaws to
This
conform.
is really a notification
Right.
amendment.
Okay, well, I'll entertain a
So
motion.
moved.
Okay,
Second.
second from Tom. Call for a vote, George?
Aye.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
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 And next, we have the conversions of streets, so let's move to Article 27.
So moved.
Second.
Chuck and Tom?
What
Okay,
is the procedure for converting a private road to a public street?
It's written right up there.
you don't know by now?
We're gonna have to know the way this
It's written
is
right there.
gone.
It's written
right
in there.
Right there, George, right under the word Articles 27, 28, and 29.
Oh,
So.
These
read-
words here,
That's all
Yeah.
that is, there it is.
this is what you do, dummy.
This is what you
Okay.
do. Two-step
you.
process at town meeting.
Well, I'm going to call for a vote on it. Article 27. George?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
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 It's unanimous. Article 28.
So moved.
Chuck,
Where is 28?
it's
It says
Saddleback.
27, 29, and 30.
Yeah, Article 28 is down
It's
at,
missing.
no, Article 28 is beyond,
What? No, keep on going, keep on
Submitted by
going. You gotta go to the actual articles.
Those are just a
You're
list.
still looking at the
Just
FinCom
28, just
report.
28.
28. Oh, okay, so we just voted on all three roads?
No, we didn't. All three rows are associated with 27.
Okay.
So here's
28 is Saddleback.
It
This is
says
where we actually
29
vote.
here, there's a typo.
Actually, right there.
Or is this,
In the report, the numbering is just.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
It says
okay.
29, it should be
Don't
28.
do
it's
that to me.
because some things had
Oh, yeah, that's-
changed
that's-
since the first draft, that's why. Okay, so Article 28, it's
Saddleback
Saddleback Road. Chuck has made a motion, I need a second.
Second,
Second from George. I'm gonna call for the vote. George?
yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
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 It's unanimous. And Article 29 is just the layout of Leeward Lane, which is the $5,000 cost. So, motion?
So moved.
Chuck and George? David?
Yes.
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 So-
Yes?
Yes.
It's unanimous. Okay, we did the town meeting warrant. Yay!
Great.
Good job. Okay, we did the CIP, we did the warrant. The Finance Committee report, I'm going to hold off. I'm going to have everyone do their edits, get things to Chuck. Chuck is going to do his edits, and then we'll vote on it next week on the 19th. I just put it there in case the meeting had gone too quickly, we could have voted on it. Town Manager Screening Committee, Chris called me today to give me an update. The screening committee is moving right along. They're operating within that 90-day timeline that they have to bring 3 to 5 finalists to the Board of Selectmen. They hired the Collins Group out of UMass Boston, and it was a little bit contentious meeting, I guess their votes were, but at the end of the day, they decided to go for the additional $16,000, am I correct on that? To move from legal and engineering to pay for the Collins Group to do the entire thing, including the background checks and the entire vetting process of this. Chris wanted me to let you know that he and Mr. Carter voted in the negative on that, and the other 3 members, Kathleen Moore, Andrew Gottlieb, and Carol Sherman, voted in the positive for that. But the Collins Group has already been here. They've already met with all the screening committee members, with all of the selectmen, and with department heads. I think for the most part, everyone's. So they're moving right along. It is an aggressive timeline, but it's by charter, so they have to abide by this timeline. Otherwise, a bunch of things could happen if I can understood what Mr. Costello had said on that things could end up having to go to town meeting and all this other stuff. So anyway, they're moving along, and they're going to meet again. I believe they're meeting every week right now. I'm trying to get this process taken care of.
Actually, I don't think they'll meet for a little while.
Oh,
The profile is going to be developed after all the meetings yesterday. The Board of Selectmen will vote to adopt the profile.
okay.
And then they will advertise the position with about a 3-week advertising, 3 to 4 week.
Okay.
And then at that point, everything will go into executive session anyway, so there probably wouldn't be any updates
Right.
in public from that point on. But they do have to have a recommendation to the board, I believe, first week in May.
It's really quick. It's in going back after all that time we spent on the charter review, perhaps that's something